Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban knife style and jungle survival. Today we're going to review the 8-inch mini candong from Parang Tantari. Parang Tantari is based out of Johor, a southern state in Pennisula Malaysia. This mini candong is a modern version of a duku candong. If you want to learn all about the different types of parang styles, do check out my video on the introduction to modern Malaysian parangs in the link in the card above or the description below. Parang Tantari makes different lengths of this mini candong. This is the 8-inch version, and there's also a 10-inch and 12-inch version. They also make a different style of parang called the Poncho, which is their version of the Golok. That one has a pointed blade tip and is available only in 10 inches and 12 inches as of the making of this video. Tantari currently makes two versions of all their parangs. This is the 2022 version that has a finger choil, rectangular collar, and an ergonomic designed handle. They also have a classic range which has all the same blade styles but feature a classic round neck and swelled handle and does not have a finger choil, or at least not one that is as pronounced. I will explain why the 2022 version has the rectangular head shortly. Let's first talk about the blade. The blade is 8 inches long and has a sheep's foot style blade head, so that prevents you from stabbing someone or stabbing your tent or tarp. The blade steel is 5160 or 5160, which is a high carbon steel. 5160 is a low-end alloy spring steel, which is high in carbon and chromium. It's a very tough steel with high impact resistance, and it is an ideal steel for parang or machete. I believe this is recycled steel, as that's the case for many of the production parangs. The blade is hand forged and hammered, as evidenced by the black markings on the blade. The blade is heat treated with differential hardening. That means the different parts of the blade has different hardness. You want the spine to be hard for strength, but the blade and the handle less hard but tougher, so that it does not chip or break. From what I understand, Tantari has the rough blades made in another state in Malaysia and then finishes and assembles the parangs in Johor. The grind is a convex grind, which is very common for parangs. This is also similar to the grind on axes, and this is so that they're very effective cutting tools. So heavy on the top that convex to a sharp point. The width of the blade is 2 inches at its widest point. In the product information I've read, the blade base thickness is 4.5 mm, but my measurement for the thickness of this parang, and this is the final process blade, it's 4 mm. So it does taper down slightly towards the front of the blade as well. So it is possible that it started out as 4.5 mm, but after processing, hammering, forging, it goes down to 4 mm. The blade construction is a stick tang or a rat tail tang. That means the end of the blade tapers down to a narrow tail and extends about 2.5 inches to 3 inches into the handle. I discussed the parang stick tang construction in a previous video that you can watch in the link in the card above or the description below. The handle or hulu is made from arang bunga, which is Malaysian ebony. The handle is 5.5 inches long and the overall length of the parang is 13.5 inches. The handle, as you can see, it's very different from a traditional parang, which kind of swells and has a bigger end or bigger butt. This is more like a modern knife with finger grooves, and it's very ergonomic. You can see everything just fits in here. It's also slimmer and smaller in diameter than a traditional parang handle. Makes it very convenient and very ergonomically friendly. The handle is not varnished, which is good, as you do not want a slippery handle. You want a handle with some grip, but it does look like it's rubbed in with oil to protect the wood, as you would expect. This is the square collar, and it's made of aluminum, although I've read product descriptions that have stated it is stainless steel. But it's definitely not any kind of steel because I've put a magnet to it, and from the look, my guess is this is aluminum. And you can see, even though it's a rectangular collar, the hole is still round for the stick tang to go in, and you can see it's filled with epoxy. The Parang Tantari parangs do not have that pin that go through to hold the blade in place. Now the square collar is a 2022 innovation. The same goes with the handle. Now the reason for this change from the traditional round collar and handle is to hold the parang more securely in the kydex sheath. This is the sheath that comes with the parang. It is made from kydex, which is a thermoplastic that is molded around the parang. I should mention that this sheath actually comes with the Parang Tantari logo silk screened on it, but I removed it with turpentine. Maybe you still can see a bit of the marks because I felt the billboarding was a bit too much for my liking. Sorry, Tantari. Hikers have feedback to Tantari that parangs with the classic round collar do not hold as well in a kydex sheath. Here's an example of that round collar in a kydex sheath. You can see that's round, and that's how the kydex sheath fits over it. So Tantari took this feedback and they changed the design to a rectangular collar. So that makes the kydex sheath really grip the sides of the collar and the, I guess, the hilt of the parang here, and it's impossible to fall out. I've really given this hard shakes, and the only way to really get out effectively is to just push back and release. And it's really good. What I like about this particular hold is it's so secure, but once you get that free from the kydex, you can just pull that out quite smoothly. So that's quite a nice design feature, but as mentioned, they do sell the classic version if you prefer the round collar and handle. The kydex sheath is well made. It feels very firm, rigid, and thick enough. There are rivet holes spaced 1.5 inches apart from each other to attach accessories. There's also a drainage hole on the end of the sheath, which is a good design feature. In the tropical climate, it rains quite a bit, and if you're out in the field, rain can leak down into the sheath. A drainage hole like this makes it easier to draw out and clean. There is a nylon belt loop, which is looped around a piece of kydex, which is riveted in place. And that's about 2.5 to 3 inches for you to loop into your belt, or as I do, attach to a carabiner and a sling. Let's see how heavy this parang is. In ounces, it's 11.5 ounces. And in grams, it's about 326 grams. So it is actually very light for a parang. Now I would like to share my thoughts on this 8-inch mini candong. I should highlight that my review is from the perspective of a hiker, camper, and bushcrafter, not as a farmer or gardener who have different needs. I chose the 8-inch mini candong as I wanted a lightweight parang that would be easy to carry for hikes. I also view the parang as an all-purpose primary knife in a 2 or 3 knife system, so it has to be manageable to use practically. Overall, the build quality of the parang is good. The blade chops and cuts very well, and the handle is ergonomic, so you don't get fatigued. And I think the size is right as well. So when you chop, you want to have a loose grip on the parang so that the weight of the parang does a lot of the work. Now, it is thinner than a traditional parang blade, but I do not mind that too much. However, I think the butt of the handle could be just a little bit bigger rather than tapered smaller, and this just allows the back of the hand to butt up against the handle when chopping, but not really too big of a deal. This mini candong is good for general bushcraft and camping tasks and works well for light trail clearing. The finger choil is well placed and allows for fine work. You can choke up on the blade and have good control of the parang due to the length and weight. The finger choil can also be used to strike a ferro rod to create sparks to light tinder. Notice the balance point of this parang. It is quite centered in the length of the entire parang. Now, parang should be more front heavy, and this is for effective chopping. A front heavy parang will allow you to chop easier, cause less fatigue, as you're letting the weight of the blade do most of the work. I think this particular 8-inch parang, the mini candong, is a little too light. Now the blade is also 4 mm thick, at least the finished blade, and it tapers thinner to the front, and it's only 2 inches wide. So if the blade was either thicker or wider, or a combination of both, it might be more front heavy and it'll be a easier and more effective chopper. This mini candong can chop, but it does require more effort. I suspect for the Parang Tantari Mini Chandong, the 10-inch version might be a better choice because of the design and construction. So I intend to get the 10-inch version in the near future to test it out. The kydex sheath is well made and feels durable, but is still lightweight. However, I feel that this nylon belt loop could be made from a better grade nylon strap. And also, I'm a little concerned with this attachment. It is just a single rivet holding this. If this breaks apart, the entire belt loop and carrying system will fail. I showed my Parang survival kit with this sheath in a previous video, so if you've missed that, do check it out in the link in the card above or the description below. If you're looking for a very lightweight parang that can work well as a general purpose outdoor knife, I would recommend this parang. If you have a larger build, have large hands, or prefer a heftier knife, I would suggest the 10-inch version. The cost of the 8-inch parang is 215 ringgit, which is roughly 54 USD. The 10-inch version costs 230 ringgit, which is roughly 57.50 USD. And the 12-inch version runs at 245 ringgit, which is 61 USD. The classic versions, the one with the classic round collar and round handle, cost about 10% more. While considered a high-end production parang in Malaysia, I still think it is a reasonably priced parang for the fit and finish and build quality. It is basically the price of a budget folding knife. I'll give links to dealers that carry the Parang Tantari in the video description, and you can check if they'll ship to your country if you are not from Malaysia. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Parang Tantari Mini Chandong. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more parang reviews and videos on tropical jungle survival, do subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.